Before this invention, a truck driver had only a handful of gears to manage 60,000 pounds on a highway that never stayed flat. It was a battle of timing and momentum, and the physics often won. But the solution wasn't about adding more gears, it was about dividing them. This simple idea created the most demanded transmission in America, turning a gear shift into an instrument of pure control. 1953, the American trucking boom was in full throttle. The interstate highway system was coming, diesel engines were getting bigger, and freight tonnage was doubling every decade. But there was a problem. The transmissions couldn't keep up. Picture this. You're hauling 40,000 pounds of steel up the grapevine north of Los Angeles. The grade is 7%. Your truck has a 10-speed manual transmission, 5 forward gears, each with a high-low range selector. That sounds like enough, right? Wrong. You're in 4th gear, low range. The engine is screaming at 2,200 RPM, redlining and losing power. You need to shift up, so you grab 5th gear, low range, and the engine bogs down. The RPM drops to 1,100. You're lugging the motor. The truck slows. The load pushes you backward. You're stuck between gears. 4th is too low, 5th is too high, and there's nothing in between. This wasn't a minor inconvenience. This was the fundamental problem of American heavy-duty trucking in the 1950s and 60s. Diesel engines have a narrow power band, maybe 600 RPM between peak torque and peak horsepower. If your gear ratios don't let you stay in that window, you're fighting the engine, the load, and the road all at once. Drivers called it hunting for a gear. You'd downshift, and the engine would scream. You'd upshift, and the engine would bog. You'd burn through clutches, overheat brakes on downgrades, and chew through fuel trying to force the truck to do something it wasn't geared to do. The engineers knew the solution. More gears, closer ratios, a transmission that gave the driver finer control over engine speed. But here's the catch. You can't just keep adding gears. A 20-speed transmission with 20 physical gear positions would be the size of a refrigerator. It would weigh 1,200 pounds. It would cost more than the truck itself. So the question wasn't how to add more gears. It was how to create more ratios without making the transmission any bigger. And that answer came from a place most people never expected. The rear axle. Some trucks in the 1940s had a 2-speed rear axle, a planetary gear set that could shift the final drive ratio on the fly. You'd run in low range for pulling power, then flip a switch and engage high range for highway cruising. It effectively doubled your usable gear count without adding a single gear to the transmission. The engineers looked at that system and asked a simple question. What if we moved that 2-speed concept inside the transmission itself? And that's exactly what they did. The first breakthrough was the range transmission. Instead of putting the 2-speed mechanism in the rear axle, they built it into the back of the gearbox. A small planetary gear section that could split the entire transmission into low range and high range. Now, instead of 5 gears, you had 10. 5 gears in low range, 5 gears in high range. Same physical size, same shift pattern. Double the ratios. But the engineers didn't stop there. Because if you could split the entire transmission into 2 ranges, why couldn't you split each individual gear? That was the second breakthrough, the splitter. Here's how it worked. Instead of putting the 2-speed planetary at the back of the transmission, you put a smaller, faster shifting version at the front, between the clutch and the main gearbox. Now, every time you selected a gear, let's say 4th gear, you could split it. 4th low, 4th high. Same gear position on the stick, but 2 different ratios coming out of the splitter section. You weren't changing the main gear, you were changing the input speed going into it. And that changed everything. Suddenly, a 5-speed transmission became a 10-speed. A 10-speed became a 20-speed. You had ratios stacked so close together that you could keep a diesel engine in its sweet spot no matter what the road threw at you. The first commercial splitter transmissions hit the market in the early 1960s. They were crude. The splitter was controlled by a separate lever or a dash-mounted switch. Drivers had to plan their shifts 2 moves ahead. But the concept was sound. And then Eaton Fuller refined it. They took the splitter idea and combined it with the range idea. A range splitter transmission. High and low range in the back, high and low split in the front. A 5-speed main box became a 13-speed. An auxiliary section added more, and you got 18. The Eaton Fuller Road Ranger 13-speed and 18-speed transmissions became the backbone of American trucking. Not because they were easy to shift, they weren't, but because they gave the driver total control. Let's talk about what it actually looks like inside the cab. You're sitting in a 1976 Kenworth W900 with an Eaton Fuller RTL 18913A, 18 speeds. Range splitter. The cab smells like diesel and old leather. The engine idles with a low, heavy rumble that you feel in your chest. The shift pattern on the stick looks like an H with a split down the middle. 5 positions. Reverse, first through fourth and fifth. That's your main box. But you've got 2 switches. One on the side of the stick, that's your splitter. Flip it forward for low split, back for high split. The other switch is on the dash or the stick itself. That's your range selector. Down for low range, up for high range. Do the math. 5 main gears times 2 splits times 2 ranges. 20 positions, but reverse and a few others overlap. So you get 18 usable forward speeds. Here's how you drive it. You start in low, 1. Low range, low split. First gear, you're moving a 40-ton load from a dead stop. You let the clutch out smooth, and the truck creeps forward. The driveline shudders. The frame flexes, the load settles in behind you like a freight train coupling. At around 700 RPM, you tap the splitter button. Don't touch the clutch, don't move the stick, just tap the button. There's a soft click, a brief hesitation, then the splitter shifts from low to high. Same gear, higher ratio. The truck accelerates. The engine note changes, deeper, steadier. At 1200 RPM, you pull the stick into second gear, low range, low split. Clutch in, shift, clutch out. Now you're in low 2. The gear engages with a solid thunk. The truck surges forward. At 700 RPM again, you tap the splitter. Low, high. 2. The rhythm starts to build. Tap, shift, tap, shift. Your hand moves without thinking. Your foot works the throttle in time with the tack needle. You keep climbing through the gears. Low range gets you through gears 1 through 4. Low and high splits each. Then you hit the range switch. There's a pneumatic hiss. A brief lag. The auxiliary section shifts. Now you're in a high range. You go through the same pattern again, gears 1 through 5, each split into low and high. 18 speeds, 18 carefully spaced ratios that let you match engine speed to road speed with surgical precision. But here's the thing, this system only works if you know how to shift without the clutch. The splitter button doesn't use the clutch. It's air actuated. You tap the button, and compressed air shifts the splitter gears while the transmission is still under power. But it only works if the engine speed and road speed are perfectly matched. That means you have to float the gears. Floating means shifting without using the clutch. You pull the stick out of gear, let the engine speed drop or rise to match the next gear synchronization point, and slide the stick into the next gear. No grinding, no forcing, just perfect timing. Old-school drivers could run an 18 speed without touching the clutch after first gear. They'd listen to the engine, feel the vibration through the cab, watch the tachometer out of the corner of their eye, and they'd know, without thinking, exactly when to pull the stick, exactly when to tap the splitter, exactly when to flip the range. It was a dance, a rhythm, and if you got it right, the truck moved like a single organism. Smooth, effortless, unstoppable. Listen to a driver who knows what they're doing. The engine never screams. Never bogs. The shifts happen in silence. No grinding, no clashing. Just a soft metallic click as the gears align. The only sound is the diesel's steady growl and the hiss of the turbo spooling between shifts. You can hear the skill. The splitter was the key to that rhythm, because it let you split gears on the fly. Without breaking power to the wheels, you could keep the truck accelerating through the entire shift sequence. No dead spots, no loss of momentum. You could climb a grade without losing speed. You could merge onto a highway without downshifting. You could pull a loaded trailer up the Rockies and never once feel like the truck was out of breath. But it took time to learn. Rookies would over-rev, they'd lug, they'd grind gears trying to force the stick into place. They'd forget to flip the range switch and wonder why fifth gear wouldn't engage. They'd tap the splitter at the wrong moment and feel the driveline buck as the gears clashed. The veterans would shake their heads. "You gotta listen to the motor," they'd say. "The truck tells you when it's ready." And it did. Every truck had its own personality. Some were quick to shift, some were stubborn. Some had a splitter that clicked instantly. Others had a half-second lag that you had to learn to anticipate. Drivers who mastered the splitter transmission were respected. They were professionals. They were the knights of the road, and their weapon was a chrome stick shift and a button on the side. But it wasn't just about skill. It was about the machine itself, and one company built the machine better than anyone else. Eaton Fuller didn't invent the splitter transmission, but they perfected it. Their Road Ranger series, the RT, the RTO, the RTLO, became the industry standard. The 13-speed and 18-speed models were everywhere. Peterbilt, Kenworth, Freightliner, Mack. Every major truck manufacturer offered Eaton Fuller transmissions as standard or optional equipment. And they earned a reputation. Bulletproof? Drivers would run an Eaton Fuller for 1,000,000 miles and never crack the case. They'd float gears every single day, and the synchros would hold. They'd pull a 100,000-pound load up a mountain pass, and the gears wouldn't chip. You'd walk through a truck stop in the 1980s and hear the same story over and over. "I've got 700,000 on my Road Ranger." Original clutch never touched the internals. Mechanics loved them because they were rebuildable. You could tear down an 18-speed on a shop floor, replace the bearings and synchros, and have it back in the truck by the end of the week. The parts were standardized, the tolerances were forgiving. And if you knew what you were doing, you could make an Eaton Fuller last forever. The RTLO 18913A became legendary. 18 speeds, overdrive top gear, rated for up to 1,600 pound-feet of torque. It was the transmission you wanted if you were running long haul, heavy haul, or anything in between. Why? Because it gave you a gear ratio spread of over 14:1. That meant you could start from a dead stop with a full load and still cruise at 70 miles per hour without over-revving the engine. You had a gear for every situation. Need to creep through a construction zone at 5 miles per hour? Low 1? Need to pass a convoy on a 2-lane highway? High 5. The splitter gave you the in-between gears that kept the engine singing. And the splitter was the reason. Without the splitter, you'd need a 30-speed transmission to get the same ratio coverage. With the splitter, you got it in 18, or 13, or even 10, depending on the model. Eaton Fuller understood something that other manufacturers didn't. The splitter wasn't just about adding gears. It was about giving the driver control. Real control. The kind of control that let you put the engine exactly where you needed it every single time. That's why the Road Ranger dominated. That's why fleets bought them by the thousands. That's why drivers requested them by name when they ordered a new truck. Because when you sat behind the wheel of a rig with an Eaton Fuller 18-speed, you weren't just driving, you were conducting. Every gear, every split, every shift was a note in a mechanical symphony. But then, the world started to change. 2007. Volvo introduced the I-Shift automated manual transmission to the North American market. A year later, Detroit Diesel launched the DT12. These weren't traditional automatics with torque converters and planetary gear sets. They were automated manuals, computer-controlled splitter transmissions. The same gears, the same range splitter architecture, but no clutch pedal, no stick. Just a simple gear selector and a computer that could shift faster and smoother than any human driver. The trucking industry hesitated. Drivers didn't trust them. Fleet owners didn't trust them. These were people who had spent their entire careers mastering the 18-speed. The idea of handing control over to a computer felt wrong. But the numbers didn't lie. Automated manuals improved fuel economy by 5 to 7%. They reduced driver fatigue. They cut maintenance costs because the computer never missed a shift, never lugged the engine, never over-revved, and they made training new drivers faster and easier. By 2015, automatic manuals were outselling manual transmissions in new heavy-duty trucks. By 2020, they were the default. Today, over 90% of new Class 8 trucks sold in America come with an automated manual. The splitter transmission is still there, it's still doing the same job, but the driver isn't shifting it anymore. The computer is on. And that raises a question that nobody wants to answer. If the machine can shift itself, what happens to the skill? What happens to the art? Some drivers say the automated manual is progress. It makes the job easier. It makes trucking accessible to more people. It reduces wear and tear on the body and the mind. Others say it's the end of something that mattered, that the ability to float gears, to split on the fly, to run an 18 speed like an instrument, that was what separated a driver from a steering wheel holder. That was the pride, the mastery, the proof that you weren't just along for the ride. The splitter transmission is still the backbone of American heavy-duty trucking. It's still in nearly every truck on the road. It's still the reason a loaded semi can climb a mountain, merge onto a highway, and cruise at 70 without burning through fuel or destroying the engine. But the driver's hand isn't on the stick anymore. The most demanded transmission in America is now shifting itself.